Welcome back everyone. Today we're gonna be making a 5-panel bucket hat. This pattern comes in multiple sizes and we're also gonna be putting an adjuster in the back to fine tune the fit. And don't worry if you're new to sewing, bucket hats are very easy to make. I'll be walking you through step by step so you can follow along easily. With all that being said, don't forget to grab the printable pattern and let's get started. Getting started with supplies, you need a 1/4 yard for your main fabric, and you can use any style of fabric for this project. I do recommend using a canvas, denim, or twill. These are all pretty standard bucket hat fabrics and they're very easy to work with. I'm actually going to be using 2 different fabrics that I upcycled from 2 different pairs of pants. One is going to be a corduroy and the second is going to be a printed denim. Both of these fabrics were medium weight, so they work perfectly. But like always, get creative, test different fabric, and find something that really works for your project. You'll need 4 eyelets, and I'm going to be using these for the vents on the side of the hat. You can also swap the eyelets out for stitching or any other type of grommet. These are optional. If you don't want to add the circulation vents, then you can skip this supply. If you plan on making the adjuster in the back, you'll need a 1/4 yard of elastic cord and also 1 cord stopper. This is also optional. If you don't want to add that adjuster in the back, then you can skip this supply. You'll need 1 sweatband. I bought mine pre-made. It's a millinery grade sweatband and it's sold at capsupplyco.com. Personally, I like using these because they wrap around the hat better and it makes for a more professional finish. Like always, you can make your own sweatbands, and we'll get more into that once we start assembling the hat. You'll need a 1/4 yard of interfacing. I'll be using this to structure the brim a little bit. Again, this is an optional supply. It really comes down to preference. I'll be using a very lightweight interfacing that you can get at most fabric stores. Lastly, you'll need your pattern. This pattern is available at properfitclothing.com. It's super easy to use. All you have to do is download it, print it off, and you're ready to go. And before you print off the entire pattern, take a look at the 3rd page. There's going to be a print size chart there that allows you to print off the exact size you want to use. This will save you a ton of paper and ink. And if you're not sure on what size to print off, take a look at the 2nd page. There's going to be a size chart there. The size chart is based off of circumference and it's in inches and centimeters. If the size you're looking for falls in between a size, that's why we have the adjuster in the back. It's such a small amount of difference in between those 2 sizes, so that adjuster in the back really fine tunes it. And once you have all your supplies gathered and your pattern printed out, it's time to move into cutting. After printing out the pattern, it should look like this. You have 3 pages with 5 panels total. Each panel will also have the size to ensure you're using the correct one. And before you get started, double check the size scale at the top. If everything is looking good, cut on the outside of the black line. And after cutting out all of the fabric, you want to end up with 4 brim panels cut out of your main fabric, and 2 interfacing panels if you're choosing to add the interfacing. The interfacing is optional, but if you are going to add it, make sure you cut it larger than the actual brim panel. This is because we'll be pressing the interfacing to the panel and then cutting around the outside edge of the panel. We'll get more into this once we start assembling the brim. You'll need 2 sideband panels cut out of your main fabric. And before you cut this panel out, you need to complete the pattern by overlapping the pattern at the overlap area. Make sure you line it right up to the edge and then tape it down. And from there you can cut out your 2 sideband panels. You'll need 2 side panels cut out of your main fabric. And for the side panels, it's important to mark the front and back edge so you don't mix it up later in the project. You'll need 2 top panels cut out of your main fabric. Just like with the side panels, you're going to want to mark the front and top edge so you don't mix it up later in the project. And lastly, you'll need 1 front panel cut out of your main fabric. And again, you'll want to mark the top edge so you don't mix it up in later steps. This panel also has the option of interfacing, and just like with the brim panels, you're going to want to cut it larger than the actual shape of the pattern. Now typically I add interfacing to most of my 5-panel caps, but for this specific style cap, I'm not going to be adding the interfacing. And this is because I want the top crown to be a little bit more floppy, but I still will be adding the interfacing to the brim panels. But anyways, moving on to assembly, the first thing we're going to do is grab all of the brim panels, separate all the panels with right sides facing up. Now this next step is optional. I'm going to be adding interfacing. The interfacing is going to provide a little bit of stiffness to the final brim. If it's not what you're looking for, then you can skip ahead. We're only going to be adding it to 2 of the panels, so place the interfacing on the wrong side of your fabric and press it down. The temperature and time will vary based on the interfacing you're using, so you'll want to check that before you get started. After the interfacing cools, flip it over to the right side and cut around the outside edge of the fabric. And I'm using a medium weight corduroy. As you can see, that interfacing really stiffened up the fabric. This is a medium weight interfacing and it really did a good job, so I wouldn't go anything beyond medium weight. Personally, I like the brim a little bit more floppy, so I'd go lighter weight or even no interfacing at all, but it really comes down to preference. But from here, we can move on to the next step. So we're going to place the right sides together, lining up the 2 interfacing panels and then the non-2 interfacing panels. Place a few pins so the layers don't shift around, and then we're only going to be stitching the side edges at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And for this stitch, you have to be very precise with the 1/4 inch seam allowance because the circumference on the inside really needs to line up with the crown in the end. If that seam is over or under a 1/4 inch, it may not line up, so you'll want to double check that before moving on. Next, we're going to add a top stitch to the new seam so you can fold the seam allowance to the left or the right and stitch directly on top of the seam allowance. And then you're going to repeat the stitch for each one of the new seams. seams. For the best results, I recommend using an edge presser foot and matching your thread color to your fabric color. This stitch not only adds durability to the seam, but it also flattens out that seam, which will ultimately reduce the bulk on the inside of the brim, making it easier to add our brim stitching. But before we get to brim stitching, we're going to place the right sides together, lining up the side seams, and we're going to stitch the bottom edge at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And I highly recommend placing a lot of pins so the layers don't shift around as you're stitching. This one can be fairly tricky because you're sewing on a curve and these two layers want to stretch and pull as you're stitching, ultimately causing the two layers to become offset, so you really want to watch this as you're sewing, and just make sure those two layers are feeding through your sewing machine evenly. But if everything is looking good, we can flip the right sides out, line up the two layers along the top and bottom edge, and this can be kind of tricky if you did use interfacing on one side. The interfacing side is going to want to push upward, so you really have to push it down to make sure they're lined up. Because for this next step, we're going to be adding the brim stitching, and it's multiple stitches, so you really need these to be lined up before you start your first stitch. Just like in the previous steps, you want to add multiple pins, and then we're going to start our first stitch a 1/4 inch away from the bottom edge. You can space your stitching out in any order and add as many stitches as you would like, but I added mine a 1/4 inch away from one another. And after finishing up the brim stitching, the brim assembly is complete, so for the moment we can place it off to the side. And grab both of the side band panels. Separate the two layers with right sides facing up. Now this panel is optional, you can make it with the side band or without, so if you don't want to make it, you can skip ahead to the next step. But if you do want to add it, then we're going to place the right side together and stitch both the side edges at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Just like with the brim panels, you want to be very precise with the 1/4 inch seam allowance so it matches up with the circumference of the crown in later steps. If you think yours is off just a little bit, it's best to de-thread it and try it again. If everything is looking good, we're going to add a top stitch, and just like with the brim panel, we're going to fold the seam allowance to the left or the right and stitch directly on the seam allowance. And once you're ready, take it to your sewing machine and add a top stitch to both of the seams. This top stitch not only adds the durability, but again, it's going to flatten out that seam and make it easier to install to the crown in later steps. But that's going to complete the side band panel, so for the moment we can place it off to the side. And grab the front panel. This next step is optional. I'm going to be adding a logo with my embroidery machine. And this step is also the step to add your interfacing if you're choosing to add it to the front panel. And if you are choosing to add it, just apply it the same way you did to the brim panels. Adhere it to the wrong side and then trim around the outside edge. But again, I won't be adding it because I want the crown to be a little bit more loose and flowy. But what I'm going to do is add a logo using my embroidery machine. So if you do plan on adding a logo, this is the step to do it. It might look a little bit different because that panel was too small to fit in a hoop, so what I did is sprayed the wrong side with temporary sewing adhesive, and then I stuck that right to the stabilizer. It turned out super great, and this is a good way to get around embroidering small pieces that are already pre-cut. I mainly want to show this technique because I sew a lot of 5-panel hats, and this is a great way to go about it to get that logo perfectly centered. And it also saves time because if you don't like the color of the thread on the fabric, you can always switch it out and not waste a whole cap. But anyways, that's going to complete the preparation for the front panel, so for the moment we can place it off to the side. And grab both of the side panels. Separate the side panels with right sides facing up. Now this next step is optional, but what we're going to do is add eyelets for ventilation. So using the pattern, locate the eyelet placement guides, lay the pattern on top of the panel in the correct orientation, and mark out each one of the guides. I'll be using a 6mm eyelet. I found that this is a great size for cap making, but feel free to switch it up and use bigger or smaller. Cut your opening, place the eyelet through the opening from the right side, and add your backing on the back. To secure it down, I'll be using a hammer die. It came with my eyelet kit. It's super easy to use. All you have to do is place the base on the right side and hammer it down from the back. You also don't need a ton of force when you're hammering, or else you're going to bend the eyelet. With one installed, you can go ahead and repeat the process for the rest of the eyelets. Using eyelets are just one method for installing the vents on the side of the cap. The most common practice in manufacturing is using a keyhole machine. This machine will stitch a small circle and punch out the middle. It's something to look into if you plan on making a lot of caps because it speeds up the production. But anyways, the side panels are complete, so we can place them off to the side and grab both of the top panels. The first thing we're going to do is separate the two panels. Using the pattern, locate the top edge, and this is the edge we'll be sewing. And if you haven't already, you're going to want to take a second to mark the front edge as well. From here, we can place the right sides together and stitch just that top edge at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Keep in mind you have to be very precise with the 1/4 inch seam allowance, or else once you go to put the front panel on in later steps, it's not going to line up correctly. So you may want to quickly double check that before moving on. For this next step, we're going to clean up the raw edge on the inside of the cap, and there's a few different ways you can do that, and I'm going to be running you through both of the techniques. And that's what I'll show you right now. Start by replacing your needle with the twin tip needle. I'll have this needle linked down below, and it works on all domestic sewing machines. Switch your machine to zigzag stitch, your choice of length, and a 0 width. Thread your machine the same way, but add 2 spools of thread. Be sure to thread through both of the needles and add your binder. It's best to have the bias tape already in so you can line it up with the needles. And I found the easiest way to do this is just tape it down. And once you have it installed, give it a quick run to make sure all the stitches are looking good. Grab your front panels and place that seam directly in the center of the binder and stitch all the way through. And just like that, it's going to add a double top stitch on the front and cover the back seam. But if you want to ramp up production, I recommend getting a double needle sewing machine. This binder is a little bit more advanced than the one I used in the previous step, but they both get the job done. You can also mount both of the binders on any double needle sewing machine. And you use this one the same way. You place the seam directly in the center of the binder and stitch all the way through the seam. It's a lot easier than it looks, and it really doesn't require that many supplies. And if you are looking to manufacture caps, it's best to have a dedicated double needle sewing machine. It really speeds up the production and makes a higher quality product. But anyways, moving on to the next step, grab the front panel. Using the pattern, locate the top edge, and this is the edge we're going to be attaching to the front edge of the top panels. So place the right sides together, lining up the top edge, and if everything was sewn correctly in the previous steps, it should line up perfectly with the front edge of the top panels. If you do have a tiny gap, that's totally fine. It shouldn't ruin the outcome. And from here, we're going to take it to the sewing machine and stitch at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And just like with the top panels, you want to be very precise with the 1/4 inch seam allowance, or else the side panels are not going to line up correctly in future steps. So you'll want to quickly double check that measurement before moving on. If everything is looking good, you can trim the bias tape flush with the seam allowance, and then we're going to top stitch and add bias tape to our new seam. And a quick tip when adding your top stitching, it's best to match your thread color to your fabric color because this is going to hide any small imperfections. Moving on to the next step, grab both of the side panels, using the pattern, locate the front edge, and this will be the edge that connects to the front of the cap. You really want to make sure you have these going in the correct orientation, or else the cap is not going to fit correctly. So place the right sides together, lining up the front edge with the front panel. Since it's a very harsh curve, you can't really pin these two layers together, so you kind of have to sew it as you go. This means you start at one end and you continuously move those two layers together as you're sewing throughout that curve. And we will be sewing at a 1/4 inch seam allowance, so once you're ready, take it to your sewing machine and start sewing. This step does take a little bit of practice, so if you get it wrong the first time, no worries, just de-thread and try again. And just like with the previous steps, you want to be very precise with the 1/4 inch seam allowance. And with my experience, sewing a curve like this, you're sewing through the bias, so one of the layers is going to stretch as you're sewing it, causing them to be offset in the end. If you see this start to happen, pull both layers so they line back up correctly. You can also loosen up your presser foot so it's not pushing down on those layers too hard, causing them to stretch. And if you are using a fabric with stretch, it's going to stretch a lot more, so you'll really want to pay attention. Now we can move over to the front side and trim the bias tape flush with the seam allowance. Double check all your seams one more time, and then we're going to add top stitching and bias tape to each side. This is another step that takes a lot of practice to get looking perfect. Those two steps are the trickiest part of making this cap, so once you're through them, it's all easy from here on out. Next, we're going to grab the side band assembly and line it up with the bottom edge of the crown. Make sure the wrong side of the side band is to the right side of the crown, and the two seams on the side band are in the sides of the crown. Realistically, you can place these seams wherever you'd like, but I like to place them off to the side so you don't see them from the front. And once you have the bottom edge of the side band lined up with the bottom edge of the crown, we're going to roll the top edge over a 1/4 inch. If you're using a canvas or denim, you can press this edge to keep it in place, but the 1/4 I'm using doesn't really press that good, so I'm just going to roll it over and pin it down. Then go ahead and continue this process for the entire top edge. Once you have the side band panel ready, take it to your sewing machine and stitch directly on the fold along the top edge. And if everything was sewn correctly in the previous steps, that side band panel should line up perfectly with the bottom edge of the crown. It's also kind of tricky to get that top edge looking perfect, so if you need to de-thread and try again, that's totally fine. This side band panel is optional, but the reason we're adding it is so that we can add an adjuster in the back. And that's what we're going to do in this next step. It's actually super simple. All we're going to do is add 2 eyelets in the back. We're placing them in the side band on either side of the top center seam. I'll be adding the same side eyelets I used in previous steps, so I'm going to snip my holes, add the eyelet through the opening, add the backing on the back, and secure it down using a hammer die. And the spacing for the second one can vary, but you want it to be about the same distance from the center point. This will make it even when you're pulling the elastic to tighten the hat. You also want to place them as close as you can to the top edge of the side band so you don't get in the seam allowance when you're sewing on the brim panel. So it is best to use a smaller eyelet like a 6mm or lower. We're going to wait to add the elastic so it's not in the way when we're attaching the brim. Another thing I want to quickly go over before we move on is the height of the side band panel. Now that we have it attached, you can see the height and you can actually play around with this, make it taller or shorter. If you do end up making it taller, you just want it to be lower than the eyelets. Also keep in mind, the taller you make it, the more it's going to cover up that front panel, so you might not be able to put a logo, unless you put a logo on the side band panel. But anyways, moving on, for this next step, we'll be attaching the brim panel. So grab your complete brim assembly and place the right sides together, lining up the bottom edge of the crown with the inside edge of the brim. Just like with the side band assembly, we're going to be placing the seams on the side of the crown. If everything was sewn correctly, the circumference of that inside edge of the brim should line up perfectly with the circumference of the bottom edge of the crown. If this is your first time making a cap, it's hard to get that in the first time, but with practice, you will dial it in. And once you have the brim perfectly lined up with the crown, we're going to take it to the sewing machine and stitch at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Remember to take your time and to make sure those two layers are feeding through your sewing machine at the same time. Keep in mind, if you sewed it off axis or if you don't like how it looks, you can always de-thread it and try it again, because this is another step that really takes practice to perfect. Move back to the inside and we're going to snip the bias tape flush with the seam allowance. Once you have that edge nice and cleaned up, we're going to move into the next step, and that's going to be adding the sweatband. I'll be using a pre-made sweatband. I'll put a link down below. These are millinery grade and they're super nice to work with. If you do want to make your own, grab some foam. You could use the same batting and roll some fabric over the edges. Place a couple stitches down the center along the edges and you're good to go. You just don't want to make it too thick or else it's going to be hard to sew through all the layers. And for this cap, it's very easy to install the sweatband. All we're going to be doing is sewing it along the bottom edge of the crown, and you don't need any fancy machines or tools. You just want to make sure you start sewing at the center back of the hat and place the sweatband along the top edge of the seam allowance. And once you get back to that center point, you're going to roll the sweatband under so you have a nice clean edge. And don't worry, we will be sewing off that overlap after we stitch the sweatband on. The biggest thing you want to do is to sew that sweatband at the top of the seam allowance. It's also difficult to pin down along this curve, so we're just going to be sewing it as we go. Once you get close to the start point, roll the sweatband end under and stitch directly through. To seal it off, we're going to spin at 90 degrees and stitch along the rolled edge of the sweatband. As you can see, my overlap shifted a little bit as I was sewing, but I can always go back, de-thread, and re-stitch it. At this point, you can flip the right sides out, try it on, and see how it fits. Now you can keep it just like this, but we're going to take it another step further and add a top stitch along the bottom edge of the side band. And for this stitch, we're also going to be sewing through the sweatband, so make sure that's nice and flat along the inside of the crown. You also want to pull the crown away from the brim so the side band is nice and flat. Once you have all the layers nice and flat, take it to your sewing machine and add your top stitch along the bottom edge. It can be fairly bulky sewing through all those layers, so take your time and use a heavyweight needle if needed. And just like that, the hat is complete. All we have to do is spin it around to the back and finish off the adjuster. For this step, I'll be using elastic cord. I found it's the best option to really cinch it closed for a nice tight fit. There's two different ways you can do this. The first way is to wrap the elastic all the way around that side band, and the second is to cut a small segment and stitch it down. And that's what we're going to be doing. So start by feeding your elastic through the cord stopper, pull the elastic until it reaches the side panel, repeat the process on the opposite side, and snip the elastic. Feed both of the elastic ends into the eyelet so they line up with the side panels. Now this technique does save time and material, but if you want to wrap the elastic all the way around the side band, you can totally do so. But once you have the elastic lined up, we're going to take it to the sewing machine and add a tack stitch directly over the elastic. Now you can pull the elastic through the cord stopper and it's going to bring those two sides together for a tighter fit. And you really only need that small section in the back to come together to change up the size. But anyways, that's going to do it, and moving into the final step, add your branding. I use leather strips added with double-sided rivets, and I already did add the embroidery up front, but I wanted to add a little extra detail to bring it all together. The last thing I want to quickly go over is adjusting the size of the brim, because this is another fun one to play around with, and it's also super easy to do. All you have to do is extend or subtract the outside edge of the brim panel. For example, if I wanted to make it shorter, all I do is trim along the bottom edge. Overall, this would reduce the height, giving me a shorter brim. And if you do make these adjustments, make sure you're precise so that way the width stays the same and the brim panels line up when you sew them together. And the second easy customization that I mentioned in previous steps is changing the height of the sideband panel. You can add or subtract to the height and it really changes up the look. Or you can go the opposite direction and not add the sideband panel at all. Either way, there's a lot of different ways you can customize it, so have some fun with it, get creative, and make a cap that's really unique to your style. And there you have it, your new bucket hat is complete. Hopefully yours turned out as good as mine did. I know the sizing can really vary based on the style of fabric you use. If you use a super heavy weight fabric, it might turn out a little bit small because you have so much bulk within the fabric already. So once you add that sweatband on there and those extra layers on that brim, it really condenses the size. Along with testing different weight fabrics, getting the perfect circumference with that brim in the bottom of the crown, it does take time to really perfect that because you have to get all those seams perfectly at a 1/4 inch seam allowance for it to work correct. Just like anything, it takes practice, and the more you do it, the better you will get. Like always, I'd love to see what you come up with, so tag me on Instagram at Properfit Clothing, and until then, I'll keep the videos coming at you, so I'll see you next time.